All right, what's up, everybody? I don't know. I guess we'll call this the Midnight Pod, even though it's not really midnight, but almost midnight on the East Coast. So we'll call it the Midnight Pod. We're gonna be talking a lot of stuff today. Chiefs, Mizzou, probably a little bit of NBA. But what did you want to start with?
Let's talk about the train wreck that plays at Faurot Field in Columbia, Missouri.
Yeah, I'm down. Oh, and by the way, everyone, this is Sports.Conor. You know, the typical. So uh, I'll link us Twitter and stuff in the description. But anyway, yeah, we'll go ahead and start with Mizzou. So today they lost to Florida. What was the final score again? Like 23-6. Was that it?
I stopped watching.
Yeah, it was like 20-6, something like that. I've basically mailed it in for the season, kind of like the team itself. So yeah, They were a train wreck today.
Here's the thing. You know what they got right today? They got one thing right today, and it was the fact that they played Danger Zone during team introductions. It's
Yeah,
literally the only thing they got right.
yeah, that was a W for them. And their helmets looked cool, but hey, that's the Odom era, losing in pretty new hats.
I'm so done with Odom. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I want Urban Meyer. My thought is bring in Urban Meyer to be a head coach, prove that he can still do it, have Chase Daniel underneath him. I think Chase Daniel would be a fantastic coach one day. Once Urban Meyer retires or gets the job he wants, have Chase Daniel take over. Easy.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, we can talk about our different hire ideas and stuff like that, but at this point, it's just to get Odom out because I'm just tired of the Odom experience. Like, it was fun. He's a cool dude. I wanted it to work out. It's not working out. He's not good. We've created these excuses for him, and we talked about how good he is with his back against the wall. Well, if you're known for playing good when your back is against the wall all the time, then you're not a good coach, and it's as simple as that.
Peyton Manning once said, fourth quarter comebacks mean you screwed up in the first three.
Exactly. And that's been the story of Odom. It's just been roller coaster after roller coaster every year, losing games that he should win and winning games that he should lose.
I just, I don't understand how people can be happy with this. But the one positive that I have with Barry Odom is he's not Derek Dooley. If Barry Odom gets fired and Derek Dooley gets promoted to head coach, I might just have to find a new team.
Yeah, that would be borderline disaster because Dooley is maybe one of the most stubborn, incompetent offensive coordinators I've ever seen at Mizzou.
It's been terrible. He doesn't play to the team's strength, and the offense just looks so flaccid with him calling plays.
Yeah, and I've said this before, but I know he's one of those guys who tries to keep the offense balanced for whatever weird reason. So he'll try to keep it 50% run, 50% pass. But in result of that, he runs and passes in situations where it should be the exact opposite.
I remember last year, he had arguably the best arm in college football at his disposal, and he ran it felt like 70% of the time.
Yeah, when you have Drew Lock as your starting quarterback, you should be putting up, ridiculous numbers, which that's what Josh Heupel did when he was here, because he always aspired to be a head coach. So what he did was he kept Drew Lock in games well past the time that they were over, and he stat padded, and he made Drew Lock throw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns every game. So by the time the season ended, schools that were looking for a new coach would look at the top offenses in the nation and be like, oh, Mizzou's right there, top 5 offense. And they look, oh, Josh Heupel's the offensive coordinator. Hey, that's someone we might want to bring in. So Josh Heupel got a top 5 offense and got a head coaching job out of it.
Where'd he go?
UCF.
Uh,
Yeah.
the thing is, I thought we should have been running an air raid offense last year because, you got a burner in Emmanuel Hall and you have a huge arm in Drew Lock. Why even bother running the football?
I mean, you had a nice backfield, but I mean, when you have arguably one of the best quarterback wide receiver duos in the SEC, yeah, it's kind of frustrating.
We should have been putting up all these numbers, but instead we're trying to run it up the middle with Larry Roundtree. And now it seems like Kelly is running for his life every other play.
Yeah, I don't get it. Our O-line was supposed to be really good. We had 3 returning starters, and 2 of them were projected all SEC. And they've been average at best in their best games. They've gotten pushed around by Wyoming. They got pushed around by Vandy. It just seems like they're just showing up, and that's about it every game. It's been pretty disappointing this year.
I got so pissed off because someone was talking about how Kelly had a crappy completion percentage today when there were plays. I remember one play, he got out of 3 sacks, ran it back to the line of scrimmage, and had to throw the ball away just because absolutely no one blocked, and there were 3 Gators in the backfield as soon as he got the ball.
Yeah, it was pretty rough for him today, and kind of like how we said before we started recording, I just feel awful for Kelly, man. He does not deserve this, and, you kind of feel... You wouldn't blame him if he came out and said that he should have picked Auburn.
He should have gone to Oklahoma.
That would have been... I don't know if Oklahoma would have wanted him, and, they ended up with Jalen Hurts, which I think worked out for him, but, yeah, you just got to feel bad for Kelly.
I feel like Kelly, it would have been better if Jalen stayed in the SEC, because then he could have played Bama, and then Kelly going to Oklahoma would have shot his draft stock up, because, that's QBU.
Yeah, definitely would have given him a chance to showcase himself, unlike, what he has at Mizzou right now.
He just shouldn't have picked us.
Yeah, I was happy as hell that he did, but... if he knew anything about Mizzou, he should have known that this was a possibility.
It amazes me that he still wanted to come here after the game he attended was the Kentucky game.
Oh,
in
yeah.
Which the stands cheered for a player that wasn't him. Or, it wasn't even a player, it was just some dude that they thought was Kelly Bryant, and it wasn't.
Yeah, it was just some security member. And then on top of that, he got the full Mizzou experience when we lost last second to Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't understand how anyone could attend that game and be like, wow, I really want to be a part of this program.
Yep, and he should have known that this has been Odom's mantra for years.
I feel like this Florida loss is more crushing than any other loss that we've had this year, just because this was supposed to be the Odom bounce-back game.
Hey, bounce-back king! Just like TJ Moe says, Odom, bounce-back king. And look at him now. 4 straight losses.
Just make it 6 and can him.
Honestly. And like I said... Feel bad for saying that because I wanted him to work out, but it's evident. He hasn't shown any improvement from his flaws over the past 4 years.
Here's my dream scenario. Okay, so, next week, Barry Odom is the coach. He loses, and then the higher-ups can him. We promote the, defensive coordinator to interim coach. Win the last game, go to a bowl game, go to some meaningless bowl game, beat up on a group of 5 school, give Kelly the, Bad Boy Mowers Bowl to end his college career, get some meaningless trophy, and call it a season. Get a new head coach.
Yeah, sounds like a plan to me because, just kind of done with Odom. I'm 100% on board. I'm just afraid that Stirk will be too afraid to pull the trigger, even though Odom has a super low buyout anyway. Although I know Mizzou is dealing in the red right now. They don't have a ton of money, and they got these sanctions and stuff to deal with, so that hurts, but, you got to do what you got to do at the end of the day.
Here's the thing, they're going to continue to operate in the red if the football team sucks.
Exactly. Exactly.
bite the bullet, buy out Odom, get a good head coach, and then you won't have to operate in the red anymore. And maybe if they didn't get so many uniforms, then they wouldn't be operating in the red. Save money where you can. Basic economics.
Yeah, and can we just stop the whole uniform thing in general, hyping it up every week when this team isn't even prepared to play?
Here's what I wish it was. I wish it was all black, gold lettering, giant gold tiger on the side, and that's it. I guess some of these uniforms cool, like the Sailor Tiger last year was cool. I liked that. People love the paw print. I love the paw print. People love the block M. I hate the block M. But why do we need so many uniforms? Just get one. Incorporate some of these designs and stuff into that one uniform and just wear that one uniform.
Yep. Unfortunately, I don't think Mizzou will ever do that, but I think it's cool for like recruits and stuff, and it looks cool, all that gives Mizzou attention, but also it doesn't actually help with recruiting. Like, people say it helps with recruiting, but nobody comes to Mizzou just because they have cool uniforms, so other than that, not really any point in doing it.
Upgrading the locker room and weight room, yeah, that'll help with recruits. But the uniforms, not really.
Yeah, like, no one really cares. They just want somewhere where they know they can play good football. I mean, look at Alabama. They have the simplest uniform design anyone can have, and, they got a top recruiting class every year.
It's because they have a good head coach.
Yep.
Who knows how to run a football team.
And he's not a player's coach.
I hate players' coaches because it gives the illusion. They're basically the Garrett Dieter of coaching. Everyone likes them, but they suck.
Yeah. I like that. The Garrett Dieter of coaching. Yeah. Saban, he doesn't put up with crap. That's what I like about him. He's just he's an awesome dude. Really respectable. But, yeah.
He does Aflac commercials.
Yeah, and I saw it today when I was watching the Mizzou game, and I was just like, man, if only we had Saban, but that's besides the point. Point is, my experience with players' coaches has been anything but pleasant in my football watching life.
During the time that I've been, really able to pay attention to football, because, I'm only 16, I've witnessed Romeo Crennel, Andy Reid, and Barry Odom as players' coaches, and all of them, the most successful out of all of them has been Andy Reid, and I'm already done with him, so.
Yeah, so, anything else you want to say about Mizzou, or should we kind of use that as our transition into some Chiefs talk?
I'll just finish it off with saying I feel bad for the recruits that committed here. Welcome to hell.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough 4 years or however long you decide to stay here until you decide to transfer out or, they bring in a new coaching regime. But, yeah, we can move on from there.
But we have a new scoreboard. How exciting is that?
Yep, a new scoreboard and the audio.
To show the other team winning in high definition.
Yeah, basically. Also, real quick, though, I still think Mizzou, they did a lot of, it's their fault that they lost. It's not the refs' fault that they lost, but the SEC officiating has been god-awful this year.
It's because they know we don't belong there.
Can't blame them for that. So, anyway, Kansas City Chiefs. So, they don't have a game tomorrow. We're recording this Saturday night. I actually like that they have a Monday night game because it means that, I expect them to lose. People are going to get pissed off at me for saying that. But guess what? They haven't been playing well. I think the Chargers are, they're a disappointing team, but they did just beat Green Bay not too long ago. So, they've shown the potential to beat other good teams. They're a divisional rival. But the thing is, I don't see them winning this game. I don't. What do you think?
Here's the biggest thing for me. The Chiefs are a better team than the Chargers. There's not really a debate about that.
Right.
But the Chargers have been in Colorado Springs practicing in the altitude. The Chiefs have not. And that's going to be a big thing. When all our guys are winded, they're going to be just fine. And, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams have been destroying this secondary for a while, and I don't think that's going to change. And with the fact that they were able to shut down Aaron Rodgers completely, and the fact that everyone just decides to suck when Mahomes is on the field, I think we're screwed.
Yeah, I mean, the defense, I clowned on everybody on Twitter for saying that the defense is back. This defense isn't magically going to get better. I think because all year long we've been talking about how good the Chiefs will be when everyone's healthy, or how good they can be. Maybe it's just time to face the fact that we're hoping for the Chiefs to be a team that they're really not capable of being. I don't think they're better than last year's team. I think they should have made a move then, but that's a whole nother topic. But this team, the defense is not good. It's arguably worse than last year. I don't care what the DVOA is. I don't care what the numbers say. They still suck. They're not improved. Spags doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And the offense, there's only a select few players that show up week in and week out. And that's Chris Jones, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and I would throw Mecole Hardman in there, but Mecole Hardman is kind of an idiot on special teams, and that remains...
I got so pissed at McCole.
Yeah, he needs to improve. But besides that, he's been great on offense. But everyone else just seems to kind of take a back seat when Mahomes is out there.
McCole Hardman didn't block me on Twitter. Let's go.
Yeah, and that's maybe he took the constructive criticism.
You see, what happened was he posted a link to the Pro Bowl voting, and he said, "Vote for me as a receiver and a returner." And I said, I would if you didn't call fair catches inside the 4-yard line, which is something he does on a regular basis.
And he's also fumbled, twice this year returning it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's not very good. So, but I've been very impressed what he's done at receiver. His receiving stats say that he's a front runner for Offensive Rookie of the Year. So, I'm really impressed with him there. And every time he catches the ball, he just turns on this afterburner boost button that he just blows by every other defender. So, I love him for that. Got to work on the return game. But, yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about him.
He's been really good, but I wouldn't give him Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I think there's other deserving candidates, but I will be surprised if he's not a finalist for it.
Gardner Minshew.
Yep. And you know what? Sucks that we're not going to get too off topic here. Sucks that Gardner Minshew had to basically get benched now that Foles is back, and basically the only thing that's keeping that happening is the fact that they paid Foles a bunch of money. But yeah,
the man cuts his own jorts. Mizzou needs a player like that. A whole culture change.
Yep. But anyway, before we get, caught up about talking about how terrible Dooley and Odom are, Andy Reid. So we've been, we've both said our fair share of thoughts about him. And, it's just kind of the same stuff every week. And I'm seeing the same people defend him over and over again. And it's like, this team is so undisciplined, kind of like Mizzou. They're just so many penalties. They don't address the fumbling problem. Even Andy Reid refuses to admit that it's an issue, and it's happening all the time. Andy Reid can't manage the clock at the end of the game. People are like, "Oh, guys, it's not on Andy. It's not on Andy." I'm starting to hear this every week, and I'm starting to see the same issues every week, and it's just it's kind of like, it reminds me of the end of his Philadelphia tenure when, the fans just kind of got sick of the same thing every year, all the talk, and, they can't do the walk, and I don't know, I'm just getting tired of it.
I think it's so funny how people try to defend him by saying things like, oh, we wouldn't be in this position without him, Mahomes wouldn't be at the level he's at without him. While that is true, his job at this point is to take the team to the next level. And through 2 decades of coaching, he has proven that he cannot do that. I remember one person told me that, he'll win the Super Bowl one day. He's just had bad luck for the past 2 decades.
Yeah, no. So, kind of like how we said before, You know, Mahomes, the only reason Reed was here after that Titans playoff loss a couple years ago is because of the fact that we needed him to help develop Mahomes. And, Andy Reid was preaching that, if he has Mahomes, that, he can do better. Well, now Mahomes kind of has learned everything that he needs to learn in order to be a good quarterback. So he can make up for the Andy Reid deficiencies by himself. But if you just, and people, they keep saying, oh, well, if you get rid of Andy, who are you going to hire that's better? Bieniemy. He's been an understudy of Reid for years now. He's an offensive coordinator, and he has been for a while now, so he has experience. And multiple Andy Reid assistants have gone on to win Super Bowls, so there's no reason to think Bieniemy can't be any different. So I would do that. And, if they just keep a lot of Andy's current playbook, that's fine, because Andy Reid's a great play designer. I'll give him that. But he doesn't know how to actually apply his playbook to the proper situation. It's just kind of like he's pressing random buttons, like in Madden, when people don't really know what they're doing, they'll just pick random plays. That's just kind of what Andy Reid does at the end of the game.
Andy is fantastic at designing plays. It's just his execution is horrendous. Like, if you take anybody with any basic knowledge on the game of football and say, okay, it is 3rd down and 17. What type of play are you calling? How many of those people do you think would say halfback draw?
Well, I mean, if you're just like talking about NFL coaches, 31 out of 32, because Andy Reid's probably about the only one that would do it.
I don't understand the thought process behind some of the things he does.
Well, I know, like, when he ran it on, like, 2nd and, 34 or 24 or whatever it is, he would be like, well, they're usually when you're in that situation, they're expecting the pass. Well, I mean, the thing is like, yes, they're expecting the pass, but also, like, you've done it several times before and it still didn't work. And also, like, even if they are expecting the pass, it's a good idea to at least, because, like, usually when they're expecting the pass and it's 2nd and long, they're playing the coverage kind of deep, so you can usually get a underneath route that may not get you a 1st down, but it'll at least get you out of a jam on your own 20-yard line or something like that. So, I mean, it's better than running it. So, yeah, I don't understand it.
The argument I've always heard for running it on 2nd and long is you are trying to gain yards back to make 3rd down easier. But that's not the case, considering the fact that we have struggled to run the ball a lot. We've broken off a couple long runs, but there's been a fumbling problem, and the fact that the interior offensive line has basically disintegrated, and we've just had so many problems. So it doesn't really work running the football. We're at the point where you kind of have to pass. And I know the offense has wanted to pass, Travis Kelce specifically. So why not just pass?
Yeah. And whenever you're going to pass in a crucial situation, let's not draw up the play for Blake Bell, of all people.
Yeah, you have Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill on this high-powered offense. Use them.
Yeah, and the thing is like, I can understand maybe going to a player that the other team wouldn't pay attention to that much, but still, you look at all of our options and make a list of the top 10 people you'd go to on 3rd down. Blake Bell is not even in the top 10.
Sometimes when I'm watching this team, I feel like Tyreek Hill is the only player on the offense.
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe that's a huge compliment to him. Maybe that's just a huge knock on the rest of the offense. But I feel like Tyreek Hill has single-handedly kept us in some games.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, the dude will get touchdowns in the matter of seconds when it seems like, we need a scorer to stay in it. And week in, week out, yeah, most consistent player on our team. I think he's, obviously Mahomes is probably the best player on the team, but, when it comes to skill position players, pure athletes, just the best player on the field, most skilled player on the field, it's got to be Tyreek Hill.
This is a hot take. I don't care that Mahomes won the ESPN Best Player Award, or I don't care that he won NFL MVP. he's not the best player on the team. I think it has to be Tyreek Hill. Just like, oh, he's just a return specialist and a burner. No, he's made some plays that he had no business making. He's a different receiver than your traditional DeAndre Hopkins or Julio Jones, but he is fantastic at it. There was one play that Matt Moore chucked up. It looked like it was going right to the cornerback, and Tyreek Hill jumped up and said, "Mine," and snagged it out of the air like a safety. He is just fantastic, and I think he's the best player on the team.
Yeah, and he's undersized for a number one wide receiver, but you wouldn't be able to tell by watching him.
He can jump super high and just make any play.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. People don't like. I've seen videos of him dunking, and like the dude's just a pure athlete.
I'm so glad we didn't cut him.
Yeah, and speaking of players we shouldn't have cut, Kareem Hunt, system running back. Quote-unquote system running back. Looked great for the Browns this past game that they played against the Steelers. I'm just going to touch on it. Sucks that we had to cut him. And, I've seen Chiefs fans call him a system running back, which is not true at all. Screw the combine numbers. He's a beast. All the dude does is avoid tackles day in and day out. And he's going to prove why he's better than Nick Chubb and why the Chiefs really need him, because they could really use a running game right now.
I feel like the Browns aren't going to re-sign him, so I think it's going to be really interesting where he ends up. Probably the Patriots, if we're being honest, but...
Yeah, my thoughts are, I know John Dorsey loves him, so I don't know if he'll offer him a big extension or not, but I have to imagine he'll kind of be looking for a lot of money, and they still got a lot of players on that team to pay, and running back's not really a high volume position that you want to be giving a ton of money out to, so I don't know. Maybe
Chubb still has a year or two left, I think. So.
Yeah, and they probably want to keep him too, so I don't know. Just depends on what Dorsey is feeling, but maybe he'll be a free agent. We'll see.
If we fire Andy, maybe we'll sign him.
Yeah, because that was all Andy. Because, people can say anything they want about Brett Veach. I think Brett Veach isn't that great of a GM, but also at the same time, I would kind of like to see how he does running his own team. Because let's be honest, he's Andy's puppet.
Veach is an interesting character. Personally, I can't stand the man. But I think he's a cocky asshole who can't back it up. It's kind of weird to say that to a GM, but he is. Have you seen the car he drives? But his last draft class with Thornhill and Hardman, that was really good. His one before, Jesus, that was bad. So he's had one really good and one horrendous draft class. And the GM's primary job is to draft, so he's pretty much 50-50 right now when it comes to drafting.
The Charvarius Ward of GMs. Charvarius Ward of GMs.
Yeah. I'm so sick of Chiefs fans. This is a little off topic, but still kind of on topic. Saying crap like, "Oh, when Breeland Speaks comes back, he'll start producing."
Can we stop acting like Breeland Speaks is the savior of the defense? I mean, I've seen that. That's horrible.
How desperate are we? How desperate has this team gotten that we are saying that Breeland Speaks coming back will be the key to the Super Bowl?
The dude was built like a muffin coming into training camp. And then Chiefs fans were trying to convince themselves that this was great because it means they can move him to the inside. He is not an inside DL.
He's if Jamarcus Russell was an end.
Yeah, I think they saw a lot of Tamba Hali in him, but Breeland Speaks is not Tamba Hali.
Wasn't fat.
I know, it's weird, and they keep I don't know. The dude's just built like he needs to get the hell out of Kansas City.
It wouldn't shock me if he gets cut.
Which would be a horrible statement for Veach's 2018 draft.
I don't care. I want him cut.
Yeah.
Passanio. He better get extended. I love Passanio. That dude is so good.
He's been great. And now
I feel like
Yeah,
Go on.
I was gonna say with Agba out, he's gonna get even more opportunity, and I'm kind of excited to see what he does with it because they've been playing him on the inside a lot, and I want to see him get some more snaps on the outside because he's got the strength to get in there.
He's not built as an interior pass rusher.
Yeah, but they use him there a
He's
lot.
lean and he'll be really good on the outside. I think we should set Frank Clark on the bench and then just let Passanio and Okafor go at it.
Yeah, and if this whole Frank Clark injury is like a real deal issue, then I don't care. Just sit him until the playoffs or something because he's not helping you now. So if you think he can be productive at some point, just sit him until this whole pinched nerve thing goes away.
I was arguing with this one guy, and he said, "Oh, Frank Clark has been playing injured. Do you know how hard that is?" I don't care. He's not been producing. Well, you have to admire how impressive that is that he's been playing with an injury. If he's injured that bad, he shouldn't be playing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if he wasn't playing, then he'd get criticized. Well, he's sucking, and that warrants criticism. So he's getting criticized either way. I'd rather have never seen a down of Frank Clark in a Chiefs uniform, and I'd complain about him less if he never played than the way he's playing right now. Because right now he is a detriment to the team. If he's sitting on the bench, he's only hurting us in the cap area. But right now he is just sucking. And his numbers are so wildly inflated. Like, it's insane. Because if you're looking at his numbers, you know, he hasn't been that bad. But if you've actually been watching the game, he's been horrendous.
Yeah, he's done pretty much nothing, and I think we went over this a couple pods ago or something like that, but the dude, he just, like, his most notable plays have either been, you know, okay, or they've been in garbage time.
Or against Garrett Bowles,
Yeah,
legendary Hall of Fame tackle.
Garrett Bowles. I could get a sack against him.
Next, he's gonna get a sack against Eric Flowers, and everyone's gonna say, "See, that's why he's getting $100 million."
Yeah, he will never be considered a $100 million player in my mind. I don't care.
Oh, it's not his fault he's overpaid.
There was a reason Seattle didn't want to pay him, and then they traded him off and turned around and paid Jadeveon Clowney a couple months later.
One thing that I want to bring up, I was talking to a couple people who have never really interacted with Chiefs Twitter before, and I want to hear your thoughts on the way that I describe Chiefs Twitter.
All right.
I said that Chiefs Twitter immediately hates everyone who leaves the team. I said that they think everyone on the team sucks except for Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Frank Clark, Tyrann Mathieu, and Garrett Dieter. Oh, and Byron Pringle. I forgot Byron
Hey,
Pringle.
Garrett Dieter. I hate Garrett Dieter, but yeah, and that's just a complete. I hate fans like that.
It's the majority of Chiefs fans.
Yeah.
They all think Mahomes is the second coming of Christ and everyone else sucks.
Yeah, and I see it on my TL every single week. Mahomes is back. We're beating the Titans. No way the Titans beat us. And it's like, oh, the next week it's like, see, this is what I hate. Chiefs fans act like they're invincible until the unthinkable happens. Well, I don't think it's unthinkable, but until the unthinkable happens, and then, you know, they call me a negative fan. I mean, oh, all you wish is for the team to be unsuccessful, and you're an asshole every week. No, I want them to win. That's the reason I'm still a fan. But I'm not gonna continue to put blind faith into something like that's just stupid, man. Like, this team, Mahomes doesn't make them invincible. I mean, you have to just realize what this team actually is.
I've seen fans kind of forget about the Super Bowl and just move on to, well, if Mahomes continues the production that he's currently at, he could still win MVP. Who cares? Who really cares who the NFL MVP is? That's not a team accomplishment. That's an individual accomplishment. And if you're a fan of the team, yeah, it's nice that a couple of your players get an individual accomplishment, but that's not a defining moment. I remember, like, some dude made a terrible list on Chiefs moments, and Mahomes winning the MVP was number one over the Super Bowl.
Wow. Yeah, and Brett Veach is looking more and more like an elite GM.
Charvarius Ward is not a good cornerback.
I hate saying this, and maybe you can call me a negative fan for this, but I'm kind of glad to see Charvarius Ward get burnt every here and there, so Chiefs fans can stop talking about him like the most underrated cornerback in the league. He's not. I've said he's not good. He's okay. Well, he's good in man cover. He's a good press man corner because he's physical and he's got length, but he doesn't have the long speed to keep up with speedy receivers. He looks lost in zone coverage sometimes, all the time. Do people not remember the Jaguars game and the Lions game when he got picked on? And he really kind of got picked on in the Texans game, but DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller had the drops that game.
I'm surprised he hasn't blocked me.
Yeah. Hopefully he takes the criticism to heart.
The most recent tweet that I've had at him was yesterday. He tweeted, "Let's talk about hard times," and I said, "You mean you and zone coverage?"
Yeah, I loved that.
I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's a true statement. I mean, it's kind of mean, but I mean, sometimes the players need to hear it.
Last year...
Wait, hold on. Wait, I don't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think about how after every game, it seems like the entire defense puts their name in the Twitter search bar and just starts, liking tweets, replying to stuff with snarky responses literally 5 minutes after the game ends?
I think that shows that the team leaders suck. Which makes sense considering the fact that the vocal leader of the defense is supposedly Frank Clark. I guess that's why they're so bad.
Yeah, they are so soft, dude. I mean, I've had tweets liked by Tyrann Mathieu, and Chris Jones is out here subliminally liking tweets and stuff. It just shows how soft they are.
And everyone thinks, they owned you by liking your tweet. That's not how that works.
Yeah. But anyway, what you were saying?
I don't think Charvarius Ward will. I don't think I'll ever consider him an elite corner unless he has a lockdown performance in a Super Bowl game or something. Assuming we're competent enough to make it to one, because he single-handedly lost us a game last year. Because Doug Baldwin just became his father that entire game.
Oh, that was the game we decided to scrap everything and put Charvarius Ward and Traymon Smith as our starting cornerbacks.
I wonder why we lost.
Against Russell Wilson. I hated that game. You got me all pissed off now talking about that. But anyway, carry on.
I feel like this podcast has turned into just us complaining about the idiots on Chiefs Twitter, but I feel like somebody has to. But I feel like every week, or every time the Chiefs make a move, or, I don't know, it's mostly just every week in general, there's some terrible player. They're either terrible, a player between average and terrible, that either comes back, gets traded, gets signed, or just something along that line, comes back from injury, just one way or another, and everyone says, "Oh my God, he's our key to the Super Bowl. We're going to the Super Bowl, guys. This guy is so good. He's the only reason we're going to win. Oh my God, him and Patrick Mahomes is just going to be a great pairing." Like, most recently, it's been Eric Fisher, but in the past, the most insane one I've seen was back when we traded for Darren Lee, who's now riding the bench now. Everyone was tweeting, "Oh my God, this is the good linebacker we've been waiting for. Goodbye, Reggie Ragland. You suck, Darren."
Dude, I was so mad.
And we are winning the Super Bowl.
I was so pissed when people were calling for Ragland's release after that trade.
People are going to say I'm exaggerating by saying that people were saying that Darren Lee was the savior of the defense and that we were going to win the Super Bowl because of the move. But look at the tweets. I'm not. That's how delusional these fans are. They think Darren Lee is the key to winning the Super Bowl.
He sucks.
Oh my god. Like, I thought Darren Lee was going to be solid, but he hasn't. And I'm tired of people saying stuff like, oh, get Neiman off my team. Neiman isn't a cover linebacker. He got a lucky pick six against the Falcons one time, but that was in preseason, wasn't even an actual game. But he's not good. He's a decent special teamer and just standard linebacker, but he's not a cover linebacker. So don't get pissed off when he has perfect coverage, but it's still a completed pass. Like, I'm not sitting here saying that Ben Neiman is good, like he's a solid tackler, but he's not a cover guy, and don't get pissed off at him when he can't cover.
Yeah.
That's not what his job is, and they force him to do it.
Which is why I get so pissed off every time they don't put in Dorian O'Daniel, because, he can't be any worse, and you drafted him to be a cover guy, but that's a story for another day. But this all kind of leads me into the point of what the hell is Spags doing? Because I was never a big fan of the hire when it first happened, but I gave it a chance, and I was like, well, he can't be as bad as Sutton, so let's see. This dude, making Mike Pennell inactive, and I don't know whose decision that was, if that was Andy, if that was a team thing, or what, but that was a huge mistake. And then he came out with this quote during practice this week and said, when the Chiefs were up 29-20 against the Titans, like late third quarter, or maybe it was early fourth even, I forget. He goes, we expected the Titans to start passing it, so that's how I prepared, because, we thought they were going to start passing and abandoning the run game. Does Spagnuolo watch football? Has he been coaching for any of the Chiefs games this year? Does he know who Derrick Henry is?
I feel like I can see. I'm not going to rag on him for that. I mean, the way he said it was kind of stupid, but I see what he means in the fact that when you are down in the third and fourth quarter, you typically pass the ball, even if running the ball has been working. It's just our defense is so pathetic that they gain more yards by running than passing. That's why we have the fourth-ranked pass defense, or whatever people have been obsessing about. It's because the teams that have beat us have just been
They don't pass. Yeah, they're not passing, so the pass defense stats are inflated. And I've been trying to tell people that, but they don't know. No, Charvarius Ward has been locking it down. Yeah, no, he hasn't.
People suddenly think that Charvarius Ward was just switched with 2013 Richard Sherman for some reason.
Oh, gosh, yeah. That is a stretch. Also, hurts to say, but Juan Thornhill got completely sunned by Derrick Henry that entire game.
I mean, he's a center field safety, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
He's just like a Bam Bam Cam that'll come up and hit him.
That's why we need Sorensen out there for those plays. But no, we need to cut him.
Can we stop the Sorensen hate train?
I know. I love Sorensen. He's always been a solid dude if you just play him in the right role.
Like, he's not great, but he doesn't suck. He's a solid box linebacker.
Yeah, he's statistically this team's best tackler, which is actually kind of sad, but he's statistically the team's best tackler.
It just hurts seeing that. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This team is the definition of insanity. It's the same thing week after week after week after week after week. It feels like every time we record one of these podcasts, we are talking about the same issues, but just against a different team, and the same players sucking, the same players showing up, and it feels like the same thing week after week after week. Like I said, it's the definition of insanity. Nothing's ever going to change. We can keep pointing out these issues, but they're not going to change. That's why I want Andy Reid fired, because he's been doing the same thing for the past 20 years, and he has 0 rings to show for it. Oh, but he went to one Super Bowl and took the Chiefs to their first AFC Championship appearance, and no, that doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is winning the Super Bowl, and if you've proved that you can't do that by not doing that in 2 decades of being an NFL head coach, you don't deserve to be an NFL head coach anymore.
Yeah, it just gets to a point where it gets stale with the fans, and you expect more, and you should, because this team is way too talented to not be competing for a Super Bowl. I just think it's a coaching and a disciplinary thing.
Let me put this in another context that stupid Chiefs fans should be able to put together. If you are a lawyer, you've been a lawyer for 20 years. You were fired from a law firm in Philadelphia and picked up by a law firm in Kansas City. Your cases have gradually become stronger, but you've eventually hit a wall. And you've been doing cases for 20 years, but you haven't won a single one. You've gotten really close to winning some cases, but you haven't won a case in your 20 years of being a lawyer. How long do you think you're going to be a lawyer? If you haven't won a single case in 20 years, should you still be a lawyer? Should any law firm touch you?
Nope.
Andy Reid hasn't won a Super Bowl in 20 years. So why is Andy Reid still here? It's not like we're rebuilding. We're rebuilt. We are, as many would say, a Super Bowl favorite, even though that's not true. Next, I bet I posted my predictions with the ESPN prediction machine, and I didn't even think about playoff implications. I was just picking who I thought would win every game. The Raiders won the AFC West, spoiler alert, and people were saying, "Oh, why are you trolling like this?" I'm not. That's my honest prediction. So my prediction is that the Chiefs are going to be one game out of winning the AFC West when all is said and done, and stupid Chiefs fans are going to say Andy Reid shouldn't be fired and blame, I don't know, the Madden curse.
Yeah, if Andy Reid doesn't win the division or he doesn't make the playoffs with this team, you seriously got to think about it, because I understand the injury thing, but these have all been winnable games that they've lost. I saw a stat saying that every single game Mahomes has started at QB and that the Chiefs have lost have been by one possession. So these are all winnable games that they've been losing. So it sucks when you can't close it out.
Do you know what really helps in one-possession games?
Having a good defense?
Having 3 timeouts after the 2-minute warning.
Oh, yeah.
What a concept.
Yeah, and not calling a timeout on an untimed play.
Why would you ever use a timeout in the third quarter under any circumstance?
I have no idea. Like we said, same problems week in and week out with this team.
It's ridiculous. I don't know how people can still be optimistic about this team. I've seen people say stuff like, "Oh, too many people have been quitting on this team, but guess what? We have number 15, so that's why we're winning the Super Bowl."
Yeah, like I said, Chiefs fans act like they're invincible until the unthinkable happens. You know, what do you mean the Raiders are winning the division? What do you mean the Chiefs aren't going to win? We lost to the Titans, and no one thought that was going to happen. People didn't think we were going to lose to the Colts. That happened. You know, people didn't think Mizzou was going to lose to Vandy. That happened. I'm not going to put anything past this team. Nothing is guaranteed, okay? This team, if they lose the next 2 games, I will not be surprised. The Chargers, we've owned them for a while, but they're not an easy team. They're not a layup.
Especially when they're used to the situation that we're going to be playing in and we aren't.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how much, being there for a few days makes a difference, because I've never really noticed anything about the altitude or in different places, stuff like that. But, if they lose, I hope they don't use that as an excuse.
There's just stupid excuses every week that are easy fixes, but they refuse to fix them.
Not only do they refuse to fix them, but they refuse to admit that they're a problem.
That's the first step in fixing every problem, admitting that you have a problem. You think any heroin addict will get off of heroin by saying, "Oh, I don't have a problem"? No.
Yep.
Andy, admit that you have a heroin problem and stop calling timeouts.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's not get too deep into Andy Reid and drugs before we get Kevin Keatsman on Twitter. Yeah.
I'm going to say something right now. It's probably going to make me the most unpopular person on Chiefs Twitter, but I don't care. I think Patrick Mahomes should take part of the blame for the loss against the Titans.
I'm not gonna disagree, but like, what's your reasoning for that? Like, what specifically?
Like you said, it was a one-possession game, and he struggled early on in that game.
Yeah, that's kind of...
When it comes down to one possession, any botched possession should be blamed.
Yeah.
And I said it for the AFC Championship game. He struggled early in that game, missed a wide-open touchdown pass, and what do you know? We lost in overtime.
Yeah, like, I think it's sort of unfair to say that, but, like, I can, like, see why you say that, because, like, I think he did more than enough for them to win that game, but, like, you know, they had that one drive, they were supposed to seal it, and, you know, he's taking deep shots, 50-50 deep shots on vital third downs, like I said, and, you know, like, you know, he had a chance to close out the game. And look, you know, like, it shouldn't have came down to that against the Titans. It sucks for him. I know he's been getting put into these situations week in and week out. But, yeah, I mean, you had a chance to close it out, and you didn't.
He's getting cocky, and it's pissing me off.
I just, like, I don't know. I hate how the entire team on Twitter is like, we'll be better next week, and, you know, we're fixing it. Still got a lot of work. I'm tired of hearing the same stuff every week.
If I was higher up in the Chiefs organization, I would have an executive order that would be everyone involved with the team should immediately deactivate all of their social media accounts.
Yep. Mizzou and the Chiefs needed to do that.
Oh my God. They're just... Because every week it's, you know, just another setback. We're going to be better next week. And then, like, these... old Chiefs fans who think Twitter is Facebook, Jerry Cole asked, oh, yeah, let's get it. And then a gif of one of the players photoshopped on a dance scene.
Or the Penguins, baby. My personal favorite.
God, that Penguins, baby.
I love that gif.
I see him everywhere.
Yeah, I loved that gif before, but now I think Jerry Cole's kind of ruined it for me.
You post it all the time still.
I know. I'm trying to revitalize it.
I miss Jerry Cole. You know what? Can we get hashtag Jerry Cole for GM trending?
Yeah, he said we should pay Matt more, you know? I think that's a good take. Keep the man a Chief.
Could you imagine just like, I'm sure he doesn't talk like that, but his tweets are just really bizarre. Could you imagine just like somebody coming up to the stands and talking like he tweets?
I would cringe so hard.
I think it would be fantastic.
It would be hilarious, that's for sure.
Just Andy Reid walks up to the podium. The defense was terrible.
Oh, man.
And Mahomes is MVP.
And just in the middle of his post-game presser, he randomly brings up how Harold Jones-Cordy tackled a shirtless fan. Oh, gosh.
Andy Reid walks up. Terry Kill scored a touchdown. Bow and arrow, bow and arrow, bow and arrow.
Yeah, could you imagine if Andy Reid started, like, text-to-speech translating emojis?
Defense was garbage. Trash can, trash can, trash can.
Oh, gosh. Okay, well, I guess we can kind of wrap that up there. Did you want to talk some NBA for a little bit?
I'd also just like to say I think we might have lost some viewers there because I don't think anyone other than me and you had any idea what we were talking about.
They'll find out soon enough. Just rewind and look up the name on Twitter. Jerry with a G. And Jerry, if you're listening to the podcast, I want you to know we think you're awesome, dude. Keep up the great tweets. Also, that's Jerry with a G. We appreciate your work on the Falcon Stadium.
Everyone go follow him. This man is a legend. he's my favorite account, and I would definitely be following him if he didn't block me.
Yep, so follow Jerry Cole. Moving on. NBA. You want to talk about your Bulls for a little bit?
We suck.
Fair enough.
That's about it. Oh, Kobe White is good. Kobe White is definitely going to be the future of this franchise, but I don't know what we're going to be doing moving forward because, our biggest need is small forward right now, and because Otto Porter sucks, we traded Bobby Portis and a pick to bring in Otto Porter. I have a video reacting to the Otto Porter trade on my channel.
Wait.
And Otto Porter has a awful contract. And from what I've seen of people saying, or that was barely English, but from what I've seen is people are saying that we should draft a shooting guard this year at pick number 7 because, we always get pick number 7.
I love Levine.
I don't like that at all. They want to trade Levine, and I'm not having that.
That's like if Brett Veach was GM of the Bulls.
Why would you trade Levine?
He's been great.
I get it that there's not a really good small forward coming up, but this is what my thought process is. Get rid of Satoransky, get rid of Young, get rid of every major contract except for just make sure you have Wendell Carter, Lauri Markkanen, Zach LaVine, and Kobe White. And then, in free agency, make sure you clear as much space as possible and get Anthony Davis. You'll play Anthony Davis at center, Wendell Carter at power forward, and Lauri Markkanen at small forward. And you have what I think in a few years could be the best backcourt in the NBA. I love Zach. I think Zach is still developing. A lot of people just say, oh, he only dunks. But I really like Zach. I think he's a really good basketball player and really underrated. Just needs to work on his defense. And Kobe White is going to be a star. Lauri and Wendell's good on defense, and I guess they're both just overall okay. I wouldn't call myself the biggest fan of either of them. I just love our backcourt. But if we get Anthony Davis, he loves Chicago. He says he wants to play for the Bulls someday. So I think you kind of have to do what you do in the modern NBA and just bank on bringing in a superstar, which would be for us Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I always loved Kobe White. I wanted the Celtics to possibly trade up and get him after I knew Kyrie was leaving. Like, Kobe White's one of my favorite point guard prospects in a long time now. That dude can run a floor. But, yeah, I think he'll be great. And then also somebody that I really like that I'm pretty sure the Bulls drafted. He's on their G League team right now. But I think he's on a two-way. Daniel Gafford from Arkansas. He's really athletic. I really like him. I think he'll be a main contributor on the roster in a year or two. So I really like him. And then, yeah, I think it would be absolutely hilarious if Anthony Davis ends up leading the Lakers after this year and goes to the Bulls. I think LeBron has become really annoying. He was really annoying on the Heat, and then when he went back to Cleveland, I started respecting him, even though I hated him, but, I respect it. And now this whole Lakers stint is just making him look like a big, I don't know, he's just annoying again. I want the Lakers to fail so hard.
It's kind of interesting because basketball is a really individual-based sport, and I don't really have anything against any specific team. Of course, I love the Bulls. They're my team. But I don't really hold any resentment against any team except for the Lakers. I hate the Lakers, and that's because of LeBron. I have nothing against Kobe, nothing against Shaq, nothing against Magic. It's not because they've been so dominant in the past that I don't like them. It's just because they have LeBron. I can't stand LeBron. So Anthony Davis leaving LeBron in the dust to come to my team would legitimately be the greatest thing in the history of basketball to me.
Yeah.
Or at least from what I've watched. Put Zach LaVine at small forward, have Wendell or Lauri at power forward, have Kobe White be point guard, and bring back D Rose to be shooting guard with Davis at center, and let's win the finals.
Yep, sounds good. And, speaking of good, my team, The Boston Celtics, they look fantastic this year so far. They are 10-1 and
Must be nice.
yeah, and currently hold the best record in the NBA. After all season on Twitter, everyone was saying, "Oh, they're going to be so terrible this year and they're taking a huge step back." No, Kyrie was the problem the entire time. And I tried telling people this, and the Nets fans are already starting to see, well, a lot of Nets fans are like, they still refuse to admit that he's a problem, but like the stories are already coming out. He's already bitching at his teammates. He's a head case, dude. Like, he's a great player, talented, fun to watch, but if he's like your first best player, you're not going to win a championship. And I realize they have KD coming back, but it still is yet to be seen what he looks like coming off a torn Achilles. And he's a taller guy and relies on athleticism a lot, so we'll see how that goes for him. But yeah, the Celtics look great. Kemba Walker has really gelled this team together. And Jaylen Brown, I kind of frowned at his extension that he got, but so far he's been proving me wrong because he looks great offensively this year. And Tatum, Kemba, and Brown all are averaging 20-plus points per game, and I'm sure Hayward would too, but he's hurt right now, but they still managed to be 10-1. Robert Williams, their second-year center, from Texas A&M, who dropped in the draft after some concerns about like his work ethic and stuff. He looks fine. He looks like a young DeAndre Jordan. He just needs to work on his offensive game a little bit more, but the dude can jump out of the gym and he's blocking shots like crazy. And then also, everyone really started clowning on the Celtics when Al Horford left this offseason. And yes, that hurt because he's a really good player. But he's also not worth $30 million per year, whatever the Sixers are paying him right now. He's good, but Enes Kanter, while he's not comparable to Horford defensively, he's getting paid a fraction of what Horford gets, and he's just as good offensively. So I really like that signing, and you can just tell that this team is more fun to watch this year. Like, they move the ball more, and Kemba's one of those people who doesn't care how many touches he gets, just as long as the team wins, because he's suffered in Charlotte for so many years, and I'm just really happy to have him because he's the antithesis of Kyrie.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to go over there. I think the reason the Celtics have been so successful, because if you look at the team, they took a step down when it comes to overall talent, but the reason the team improved was because Kemba is a team player, and he is basically Kyrie with a better attitude. Because, player-wise, they're basically the same player, except for Kyrie has a ring and a bad attitude. And I don't think they made a bad decision letting Al Horford go. Considering the fact that he got all that money from the Sixers. I don't understand the Sixers signing, considering the fact that they already have Joel Embiid. I feel like that is just Al Horford, bringing Al Horford in is just to play defense against Giannis in the playoffs. That's the only use I can think that the Sixers could have for Horford. I thought he was going to the Kings and they would try to make a push. I thought he was a lock to go to the Kings, so I was really surprised when he went to the Sixers.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing a report. It kind of proves what you were saying with Kyrie being a problem. The Nets were not going to sign Kyrie. Kyrie wanted to go to the Nets, but the Nets said they were not going to sign him unless he could get Kevin Durant to come too.
Yeah, and I hope it doesn't work out for them, which sucks because I like KD. I don't like Kyrie, but I mean they're a couple of divas. I can see it turning south really quickly, but yeah, and like you were saying about Al Horford, like that makes a good front court for Philly, but also Al Horford is their best three-point shooter right now, and he has the most three-point attempts so far for that team. And Ben Simmons doesn't look that good. Joel Embiid still looks out of shape. Tobias Harris was their big star signing, someone who was already on the team and is getting paid like a superstar when he's an above-average player, but, nothing special. He's okay, but if the Sixers don't make it further than they did last year, this year, their fan base is going to get kind of sour because Brett Brown already is a coach that's highly doubted, and I don't blame them for that. So it's like, if they're paying all this money and they got to pay, whoever else soon, I'm gonna feel bad. Well, I'm not gonna feel bad for them because I hate Philly, but it's gonna kind of suck that they wasted this perfect window.
I really don't like the Sixers because, their star player, their face of the franchise, Joel Embiid, went to Kansas. Obviously, I don't like him because of that.
Yep.
And then Ben Simmons, I don't like because I think it's stupid that you can have a point guard that some people consider an all-star when he physically cannot shoot a three.
Oh, but he worked on it all offseason.
Huh?
He worked on it all offseason, though, with no defense in the way. He just all these Instagram videos of him working on it.
Can we stop saying that an NBA player is going to have a breakout season when he is working out in a gym without a shirt? Like, it seems like every week in the offseason there was a new player that there was a video of them shooting from the three-point line shirtless, and, he's going to have a breakout season. No, I assume that's how every NBA player works out?
Yeah, breaking news. NBA player trains in off-season.
Well, I mean, that'd be news for Joel Embiid, but...
Yeah, and Bill Simmons, I don't know if you know who that is, but he's like a world-renowned journalist, spent some time at ESPN, has his own website now, The Ringer. I listen to him all the time because he's kind of a Boston homer, but he said that, it seems like all these players have, body transformations. Like, Giannis had his a few years ago, and now he's a beast, and Miles Turner has shed some fat and looks a lot better. And just, there's always, one player every year that, just has a complete body transformation, and Joel Embiid hasn't had his, and he's still kind of out of shape, and his conditioning was a reason they lost in the playoffs last year.
I thought it was so funny how after he got in the fight with Kat, he said something like, I grew up around lions and mama didn't raise no bitch or something like that. Meanwhile, he was sobbing in the locker room after Kawhi hit that game winner on him.
Yeah, which, people were going off on him for that. I don't really care, but yeah, you can't be a hypocrite like that.
I don't blame him for crying. That would hurt to lose in a Game 7 before you're going to the NBA Finals. But then to turn around the next season and say, mama didn't raise no bitch. Well, crying on your way to the locker room is kind of a bitch move. But...
Yeah, and I guess to start rounding out our NBA talk, I guess we can kind of make some early predictions. So for the Eastern Conference Finals... I'm going to say it's going to be a combination of the Celtics, Bucks, and or Sixers.
I feel like, I don't know, I don't trust the Sixers to make it very far. I think Toronto could still make some noise even without Kawhi. Boston is probably the most complete team right now. I think that Milwaukee would easily be the favorite if they signed any superstar that wasn't Chris Middleton.
Yeah, that was a horrible contract.
Nikola Vucevic, I feel like would have made them a better team than Chris Middleton.
Yeah. Oh, and that was awful. Nikola Mirotic was really solid for them, and then he just all of a sudden went overseas.
It's because it's an easier league with less wear and tear on your body, and he was being offered the same price for both. Yeah,
that was really weird, though. But, yeah, I think, just to mention something else about my Celtics real quick, I also think they have a trade to make. I don't think they're done. They have a lot of movable contracts. Marcus Smart, who I hope they don't get rid of. I love that dude. He's, the heart and soul of the team. And also, he's been shooting really well this year. The big knock on him is always that he's been a poor offensive guard, but his three-point shooting is really good this year so far. I hope he keeps that up, but he's first-team all-defense. And then they got Gordon Hayward, too, which, again, I would be sad if they moved him, but if they're moving him for someone Miles Turner or Andre Drummond or a big man to get him over the hump, I'd be okay with it.
Blake Griffin.
Yeah, just someone like that. If they roll out a starting lineup that's Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Enes Kanter or Robert Williams, and then Blake Griffin, that's a finals team.
Here's my prediction. I'm saying that either Blake Griffin will be traded. He does not look happy in Detroit at all. he might not say something, but I think he will be traded because he's not happy. So I think it'll probably be either the Bucks or the Celtics, and whoever he ends up on will probably win the East.
Yeah, that's a fair prediction. I hope it's my team that ends up winning the East. But looking over at the West side, it's kind of hard to pick against the Lakers right now. I still think the Clippers are really good. See, the thing is like, the Clippers are going to be well rested because Kawhi's always doing his load management thing. Paul George is probably going to be doing it a lot. And also, on top of that, the Clippers are a deep enough team to where they can afford to rest Kawhi and PG a lot and still win a lot of games. If LeBron or AD ends up being out for an extended period of time, that Lakers team is screwed because, like, it's basically a G League team without them.
They have no depth whatsoever.
Yeah.
They employ KCP. I'm not picking the Lakers to go to the finals.
Really, though. I think they'll make it to either, like, the second round or the conference finals, but I don't know. I'm not going to pick them to win the championship yet.
I think the Clippers are the best team in the NBA right now. I think once Kawhi stops doing his load management thing and Paul George gets fully healthy, that, like you said, that team has so much depth. I think they're definitely going to be a really strong team and a really scary team in the playoffs because, Kawhi always gets the last laugh. But the team that I hope can get it together, I say the Nuggets are a really competitive team and are going to make some noise. But the team I'm really hoping gets it done in the West and probably just win the NBA Finals, to be honest, is the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah, I think they have a trade to make. I think they'll be active at the deadline. We'll have to see what they do. Damian Lillard he's a game changer. And like you said, the Nuggets, if Michael Porter Jr. just like really becomes like a breakout guy, I think they have a chance to win because that's what they needed is like another like go-to scorer wing. But yeah,
I wouldn't mind seeing the Nuggets win the championship because MIZ pride.
Yeah, only problem with that is they're owned by the Kroenke family.
Ooh, that's tough.
Although I have a little bit of respect for Josh Kroenke because I think he's doing a good job. It just sucks that his father is Stan and that he actually owns the team. But NFL owner bylaws state that you cannot own both. So he was forced to give them up. But they're still, it's like the checks are still in the name of Stan, but Josh Kroenke is just getting control of it.
Yeah.
That could be
your biggest sleeper team?
That could be a whole nother podcast. But yeah, my biggest sleeper team, honestly, Pelicans, if Zion comes back and blows it up. I think they got a good team. Like they got Favors is solid, Redick, he's a solid veteran. Ingram's been pretty good this year. I like Lonzo. If Zion comes back and he's, the rookie that everyone thinks, I don't think the Pelicans will do a ton of damage in the playoffs or anything. They're still super young, but I think it's a team where, you're going to have to play really hard against them if they're on your schedule.
I don't think this team will necessarily make some noise in the playoffs, but I think they've already done better than people expected them to, and that's the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, they've been actually kind of impressive. Although I'm curious to see how many people they end up selling on. Like, I wonder if they move Chris Paul at the deadline. I think there's a chance.
I really want to see Chris Paul go to a contender.
I
feel like
his contract is
Chris
awful.
Paul, some team would get desperate enough.
Miami, possibly.
That would actually be a really good fit.
Yeah, they could just give him Dion Waiters and his gummies.
Maybe Dragic and Waiters for Chris Paul.
Yeah, and then I heard the Blazers are rumored to be interested in Danilo Gallinari. I think that'd be solid for them.
That's a good fit. The Blazers need a center that isn't Hassan Whiteside.
Isn't Nurkic still out?
Yeah.
He's solid.
If if I was the Blazers, what I'd be doing is I'd be trying to swap Hassan Whiteside for Steven Adams.
Yeah. Steven Adams' contract is terrible, and so is Hassan Whiteside, so I could see him doing it. I guess
Steven Adams isn't an absolute idiot.
Yeah, I guess the Thunder are this new, just like, hey, take my horrible contract team.
Like the Nets used to be, and, you know, I really think the Thunder should hire Sam Hinkie.
Yeah, because the Sixers, you know, everyone thought they made a good move in firing him until his philosophy ended up becoming genius for them.
Trust the process. Like, the process friggin' worked.
It really did.
I'd like to see an NFL team trust the process.
Kansas City, shut it down right now. Tank for Chase Young.
We've already won too many games to get Chase Young.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But I have an immense amount of respect for Sam Hinkie's process. But I would really love to see Steven Adams and Chris Paul be on different teams. I feel like they could really help whatever team they go to.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, one fit I really liked was Steven Adams on the Mavericks.
That'd be nice.
I wanted him to go there. And Chris Paul, like you said, Heat, you know, just give the Heat someone other than Jimmy Buckets, and they'll probably be good. You know, Tyler Hero is going to be the face of the team. I don't care how good Jimmy is. It's going to be Tyler Hero. Jimmy Butler cannot be your best player, because if Jimmy Butler is your best player, you will not succeed. But, you know, Chris Paul would be that team would either be really good or really bad. Not really any in between there, but I'd like to see it at least.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd just like to see some of these sucky teams sell off their good players.
Yeah, I wonder how much longer Washington thinks it's a good idea to hold on to Bradley Beal. I really want them to get
Bradley Beal to the Bucks. I want to see that so bad.
That would be cool because that would actually be really good for them. Middleton for Beal, straight up.
Like, it'd probably be Middleton and like 3 first-round draft picks for Beal, but I don't care. I'd love to see that because, you know, it gives you a good shooter. Eric Bledsoe is okay, but Bradley Beal would be an elite person in the backcourt, and then obviously Giannis is Giannis, and that team would just be really, really strong after that.
Yeah, you just need another guy that can go off in the playoffs. Eric Bledsoe's kind of been quiet in the playoffs the past couple years, and like Giannis can't do it by himself. You don't want another LeBron Cleveland first-time situation. Bradley Beal's a dude who can go off on any given night, and we're in a league now where you need almost like 3 stars to be a championship team.
Yeah. One player that I think should be on the move, I don't know if he would be due to his contract, but I'd like to see Kevin Love move.
Yeah, he was someone I considered for Boston to look at.
I feel like, I don't know where would be a good fit for him.
I'm not sure, because he's getting paid a ton of money still, and he's also built like a wet paper bag.
Miami might be.
That'd be a cool scenario for him. Maybe Houston if they want to move on from Capella.
I think that'd be a downgrade, honestly.
Yeah. Just for some reason, Capella's been a scapegoat for Houston lately.
I mean, I'd argue that he's their second most valuable player.
Yeah. Russ, what do you think of Russell Westbrook?
I can't stand him.
I just like,
I think
I don't...
He's the Jar Jar Binks of the NBA.
Yeah, I don't know whether to, like, call him a stat padder or an underrated player because, I mean, it just seems like the dude can't break through.
Here's why I compare Russell Westbrook to Jar Jar Binks. Russell Westbrook not only looks like Jar Jar Binks, but Jar Jar Binks in The Phantom Menace hogged screen time, and that thus made the movie worse. And Russell Westbrook is a ball hog, making the team he's on worse. There you go. Jar Jar Binks equals Russell Westbrook.
That's a really good analogy.
Oh, Misa called Jar Jar Binks. Exactly the same as Russell Westbrook getting a triple-double, but the team still losing.
Yep. Sounds to me like Celtics are 2020 NBA champions.
I mean, I wouldn't like seeing Boston win another championship, but if anyone in Boston was going to win a championship, I'd want it to be the Celtics, because I don't like the Bruins, I hate the Patriots, and I hate the Red Sox.
Yeah, I feel like out of all the Boston teams, the Celtics fan base is the most respectable. Even though it's a lot of the same Boston fans cheering for Celtics, the Boston team. I feel like I just feel like Celtics fans they're a pretty good fan base.
Aren't Celtics fans notorious for being extremely racist?
That's the narrative, but I mean, no one actually, there have been a few racist incidents at Red Sox games and stuff like that, but I don't know, I've never seen a video a Celtics fan calling one of the players the N-word or something, but I don't know.
Boogie said someone did, but
yeah, who knows? I don't know. I don't think one person speaks for an entire fan base. You just gotta throw them out. It's like having dumb Chiefs fans.
Well, I miss the days where the Chiefs fan base was really good. Now they're just all terrible, it seems like.
Yeah, and it's like that one time we divided Chiefs Twitter into categories. It's a bunch of boomers that, have been cheering for the Chiefs their whole life and have some really poor... Their takes are 50-50. Then you got the Mahomes stands of Chiefs Twitter.
The worst.
Yeah, who just they bandwagon. They're the LeBron fans of the NFL. Then you got
if Mahomes was on any other team, I would absolutely hate him because he's becoming the LeBron of the NFL. And I obviously really, really like him because he's on my team and he's not an asshole like LeBron. But his fans are as annoying as LeBron fans.
Yeah, and then you got the people who act like everything is fine and dandy all the time, and the Chiefs are, just the greatest thing ever, greatest thing since sliced bread. And then you got us. Well, and then also there's another little section that's taped off for the Jerry Coles of the world. And then
absolute goats.
Yeah, and then you got us. It seems like the only two actual knowledgeable, truthful Chiefs. We're people who are paid to say stuff for ESPN, and people get pissed off at them when they say something about the Chiefs. That's not something that a homer would say, but we're actually homers, but we're actually just truthful, if that makes sense.
We keep it real.
Yeah, basically.
We don't get a lot of views on our stuff, but the people who do view our stuff are getting, the most pure, organic Chiefs takes there are. We don't have any bias one way or another towards the players, except for we hate Frank Clark because he sucks, but,
Yeah, I mean...
If he didn't suck, we wouldn't hate him.
Yeah, we have a good mix of positivity and negativity. I mean, look, we're just saying the defense sucks and Tyreek Hill is the most talented player on the team.
People say that I hate everybody on the team and I always complain about everyone and I say everyone sucks. That's not the case. I simply point out when people suck more than I point out when people are really good, because you don't need to really acknowledge the fact that people are really good, but you do need to acknowledge the fact when people suck, because that's a detriment to the team.
Yeah, pretty much. Just I've said 1,000 times before, it's the same thing every week. And it's almost like our podcasts are becoming repetitive, so, if you keep listening, props to you, because this team has been absolute hell to watch this year.
Oh, I forgot to say, do you think that there is a separate Chiefs community that's Garrett Dieter stands?
I really hope there's not actual Garrick Dieter stands out there. If there's a Garrick Dieter stand out there, please reconsider life.
I know one dude told me, "Oh yeah, I bought a Garrick Dieter jersey because he's going to be the next Edelman." Are you saying that because he's white? Like, he's not a similar player to Edelman. I remember everyone was talking about how amazing Garrick Dieter was, so I thought, okay, I'll check this Garrick Dieter guy out. Well, his final season, he rode the bench in Alabama, and before that, he played for Bowling Green, and he wasn't good.
He was a solid special teamer for us. Made some plays in the preseason at receiver, but you can say that about a lot of people. I think Marcus Kemp was better than him, but
he didn't even play in this year's preseason because he was quote-unquote hurt.
Yeah, he had some mysterious back injury that came out of nowhere, and then he just got...
We cut Cody Thompson to add Garrick Dieter to the practice squad.
Yeah, and Cody Thompson is an upgraded version of him. At least he catches everything.
I remember Garrick Dieter had a special teams play during the AFC Championship game, and apparently that makes him the greatest player in Chiefs history, next to, of course, the Lord and Savior Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, anyone who just happened to be running down there when that ball popped out would have taken it to the house. Garrick Dieter is not special.
And Alabama is my second favorite college team. He went to Alabama, and if I am saying that he sucks with my Bama bias, you know, he sucks.
Yeah, Chiefs fans are still holding out hope that he's going to contribute somehow. It's just not going to happen.
Same thing with Byron Pringle.
See, Byron Pringle, I actually I'm fine with it. I'm fine with him having a spot on the roster. I just think he kind of is what he is. He's not going to some people say he's going to be the next Sammy Watkins when Sammy Watkins is gone. No.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
He's okay, but he's an NFL wide receiver.
Yeah.
He's kind of a cookie cutter wide receiver. He got a touchdown against the Colts and did the Macarena, but people forget that he didn't get any yards after catch, and it was pretty much all Mahomes on those plays that he made catches.
Yep, and the most important play of the game, he screwed up by cutting back out to try and get extra yards instead of getting the first down. And as a result, I have not seen Pringle do anything this year since then.
Yeah, and people were congratulating him on the great game. He blew the game.
Yep. When it came down to it, he screwed it up.
That's just like if your kicker makes 5 field goals in a game, but he's going to kick a 6th that's a game winner, and he shanks it. No one's going to say, "Oh, great job on those 5 field goals. Those were really difficult." They're going to say, "No, why'd you miss the 6th one?"
Yep. Kind of seems like a Chiefs thing to do.
All right, I think we can officially call this the Midnight Podcast because we are 2 minutes from midnight. I'm tired of this shit. I'm going to go.
All right.
Any last words?
Not really. We're about to hit an hour and a half on the podcast. I think we got a lot covered. Basically the summary is Mizzou sucks, needs a coaching change. NBA is pretty fun so far. Chiefs suck, need a coaching change.
Take care.